Okay, so this is an analysis of the any% world record in NSMB DS. So, okay, right off the bat, the timer, I start the game like a second late than the timer, and that's because of race time, because this was during a race, and for whatever reason, race time likes to start the timer late or early sometimes. It's really stupid. So the World 1, actually all the splits are gonna be a little off because of that. And because I started the stream after RNG manip, I did RNG manip in this run, but that was before I started streaming, so it didn't show up in the final recording. Which kind of sucks, to be honest, but it's not a big deal. I used to think that is like kind of suspicious, but I get frame drops. Either that or my computer is dying. But anyway, this pattern, this is a standard pattern that I get all the time, and because Toad patterns tell you how many double jumps to do in 1-1 in order to get shell in 1-2. And I know this pattern. I have this on my pattern document, so because of that I feel like it's not as suspicious. Since I know that pattern, therefore I did RNG manip, so I don't know. I've always found it a little suspicious, even though this is my run. I just find it, I don't know. It's just weird that this came out of nowhere. It doesn't show RNG manip, and I do no other runs afterwards. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. This run really did come out of nowhere, but whatever. So there, I did 2 double jumps, therefore I'm going to get shell. And I've been wanting to do a commentary of a PB but since I haven't gotten a new PB, I just said screw it. Because at least with this, I can point out my many mistakes, and it can reassure me if I have the motivation to play again. So right there, I do quick slide glitch, because normal shell speed is, wow, I do that really late. I don't know how that worked, but, normal shell speed is slower than running speed without shell. So like if you're morphed into shell, then your speed is slower. Okay, I'm gonna I lost my train of thought, but basically if you're morphed into shell, your speed is slower than if you're running without being in shell. However, if you do QSG, which you crouch at the edge of a block, and then you hold the opposite direction when you're in the air, in this case it would be left, then you get standard running speed, and holding left makes you accelerate faster while in the air. The task does it a lot, and you can use that same technique to so right here is a star block, and what you can do with that is you can grab that and do a frame perfect QSG off this block, and that'll give you star speed while in shell, which normally isn't possible by standard means, but you can do that with QSG inputs on a block with star, but it's frame perfect and it's just not worth going for. The task does it though. Here's one time save. This slope section was unoptimal because I slow down a ton right here, and it just makes it kind of slow. And I turn back a bit. So 360 pipe. Normally I get 361, which is optimal, but this was not optimal. This World 1 was kind of garbage. It has been a year since I've gotten a PB with a 337 World 1, which kind of sucks. Next up we have Task Cycle. So you do good jumps at the beginning, and then if you're fast enough you can wall kick off that block, and you can barely make it through. And that's the cycle that the task gets, so the very creative name of Task Cycle is what it was given. And here is my first major mistake, pixel stopping on this block. If I jumped a tiny bit higher, I would have been fine. But sadly this had to happen. And usually, whenever I pixel stop right here, it's usually a reset for me. But since this was in a race, I was just like, I'll just continue. I turned back a bit, I think, as well. Like right there. Yeah, I don't know why I turned back there, but I don't think that really lost me anything. But I don't know why I did that. And right here was also pretty slow because I wait a bit. I like move, stop moving, and then wait a bit more because I didn't know what the cycles were going to be in this room. I do QSG on this, and it saves like a quarter of a second. So basically, my setup is to jump, and right after you jump, let go of run, and then repress run a little bit later, and that'll set you up. Noodles does a miniature turn back, and I do an unmorph here, which lines me up so then I can hit these two bricks like pretty much every time, and then wall kick into the pipe. This is one major place to save time. You can save about 0.75 in this level because of that pixel stop that happened. RNG wasn't terrible, but wasn't great either. You want the red block to be off screen while it moves, because that makes it move faster for whatever reason. It's noticeable in World 8 whenever you get a bridge crossing. Having it go left in like 8.7 is faster than if it goes right in 8.8. It's very weird. So this is where, so this split time is inaccurate considering my timer started early. Actually yeah, timer started early. So I started late. So this is really a 338.233. And you can see how staying out of shell is faster. It's most apparent in 5.1 because of the amount of unmorphs that we do here. QSG is not faster for 5.1 because of fireworks. If you get double digits on the timer, then you get fireworks, which loses time because it needs to play the fireworks and then also spawn a mushroom house at the very beginning of the level, or of the world, I mean. The red block went right there. I don't know which level it went to though. I don't remember. Oh no, after this level. So right, you can kind of, it's kind of noticeable if you have a good eye. Let me go back a bit more. You can kind of see how I get up to running speed, but then I kind of slow down a little bit afterwards. I'll replay it. You can kind of see how I run, slow, and then run again. And then that lines me up for QSG. If you play this, if you get like too optimal of a QSG, and then play the rest of the level optimally, you can get 66, but in most cases you're perfectly fine. And I compensate for that by going underneath and staying in shell for a tiny bit, just to lose, like, just a little bit, just in case I went way too fast. Because like I said, 66 is pretty tight. Theoretically, you can get 67 by doing a dumb strat, but no one has done that so far. This is where hyperspeed comes into play, where if you grab any sort of holdable object and you throw it in the air, and then you go and you run down a slope while the animation is playing, you get a lot of speed from that, and you can keep that speed by jumping and letting go of the D-pad, and that gives you a lot of speed, like right there. Pretty garbage hyperspeed, to be honest. You can keep your hyperspeed by doing frame-perfect jumps. And if you jump like a frame later, then you'll gradually decrease in speed. Actually, that wasn't too awful. This is like a mid to high 68. Still could have been better. After hyperspeed, I do QSG on the ice blocks, just to save a bit of time. Oh, I should probably explain the RNG right there. So what happened is, so the path that the red block took, I think, was it usually spawns at 5 tower, and then after 5-1, it went down to here. Actually, wait. I'm trying to think about what happened. Okay, yeah. So after 5-1, the red block went from 5 tower to 5B, and then from 5B to 5C. And the hammer bro was at the ghost house, meaning that they could potentially just swap places from 5C to 5 ghost house, which is the best RNG that you can get in that scenario, and that's exactly what happened here. So they just swapped places, essentially, and that is the best thing that you can have happen. There's a strat you can do if the red block is at 5 ghost house, is you can jump on it, and then you can get up here a bit faster, which saves about like 2.5 seconds if done optimally, I think. But I didn't do that. And the reason why I didn't do that is because I'm just not used to it. Almost every single time I try to go for it, I mess up the like whole level, so I just decided it's not worth doing. Even though it is a race, but I was just like, it's not worth it. And the reason why I was standing there is because I was typing in the race chat saying like this RNG was like really good. Technically, I've gotten better gameplay in World 5 before, and I think Noodles has too, but because of RNG, this World 5 is terrible to compare against. They don't swap again. They go their separate ways. But it is still pretty fast. This was a gold by about 2.5 seconds. No, 1.5. Yeah. So this really was a 751, which is pretty insane, honestly. The fact that that's possible with a 338 is just mind-blowing to me. It's not mind-blowing, is the fact that I have to compare to that now. Most of my time save is in very dumb spots, as I've shown in one tower. Another dumb time save is gonna be coming up in 8-2. Even though I got it first try, that does not mean that the entire level was good by any means. You can save about 1.5 seconds in this level by just being not bad. Actually, I don't even know if it's a case of that. I don't even know if... I feel like the scooters are RNG, but I should actually probably explain this. So basically, this is a space jump, but we call this specifically fast 8-2. And if your Y velocity in shell while you're crouched is 0, and you unmorph out of shell and then repress jump when your Y velocity is 0, then you jump. Right here is where I lose the most time. Like I was saying before, I don't know if this is RNG or not. I've always assumed that scooters were movement based, but I feel like even if I do the same exact movement, I still get different results from it. So I don't know if it's RNG or not, but sometimes he'll shoot one of his balls and then you have to wait for like half a second. It's really dumb. There's a faster strategy that you can do here by swinging a bit faster and you can bounce off of him, but I didn't do that. Because my entire mindset for this run was just PB. Because I don't want my legacy to be known as 2244. Is that because I hate that run. Not to say I don't hate this run, but I hate this one a bit less because it finally showed me that I had potential still. Right here we collect Fire Flower, which is then used and equipped in 8-5. Because it's faster for RTA people. Right here is Cycle Skip, where basically you land on the block to build up your momentum so then you can wall kick. And then you can slide through the little gap and you, hence the name Cycle Skip, you skip the cycle. And it saves something. Saved about 6 IGT, which is about 4 seconds, I think. This is the fastest Bowser kill that you can do. It was a pretty optimal 8 tower. Everyone went left, so I was like, yes, good RNG for once. Now maybe I can finally, get a lucky break. This 8-3 was pretty garbage, to be honest. Cause, okay. So, before this, everyone was so, like, ignorant with 8-3. They're just like, it's just the mashing level, no skill involved, you don't need to practice it or anything. But it turns out there's so many more optimizations that we were not considering until J-Dude came along and was like, you can do this, and you got this. So first off, I'm brushing up against this block when you should like fall down a bit and then go up. That's faster by a bit. And right here, the most optimal way to start swimming upwards is when this yellow part is in line with this, which I kind of swim like that, but I don't mash swim. I wait a bit before fully swimming, and that loses time. Right here was also played really safe, and I bonk right here. It's so annoying. So annoying to have that in this. In total, about, you can save like 1.5 seconds in this level alone. And it's a mashing level. It's just so stupid. Going into the bubbles that come out of the pipes is faster. It gives you a bit of a speed up. It's most apparent without show. Because without show you can hold neutral on the D-pad. So this is okay, so I just muted it. Oops. This is where I save time to Noodles. If we ignore all RNG, if we ignore like all the map movement and stuff with the red blocks and the hammer bros, this is where I save time to Noodles. This wall kick. Because in his PB, he misses this wall kick, whereas I get it. And then after that, take intentional damage. Eight 4 is a very easy level. You hold it right and you crouch. That's basically the entire gist of 8-4. The reason you crouch on these platforms is because vertically moving platforms you can pixel stop on anywhere. It's not just the corner, you can pixel stop like anywhere on that platform. And I scroll the camera at the very beginning to get past that Koopa. Makes it a bit more lenient. And I love consistency, so... Also, I forgot to mention that turning at the flagpoles is faster. Keep switching comparisons. Oh, I wanted to compare to Noodles. Yeah. There's a new strategy that was found out by Wah, where if you hit this block, you can spawn these two platforms, and you can crouch off this one into the little gap. And that can save about half a second. I've begun to do that. It's a bit tight, but it is possible. It's a pretty good castle, though, to be honest. Like, ignoring the fact that that strategy exists. This was a pretty good 8 castle. For the most part. Yep, this is boring, so I'm just gonna skip through that. Here's the bridge. Actually, I'll discuss that when the moment comes. So wait, 5. This is where you equip fire. My best possible time at this point would be 22:34, because remember, the timer started early, so... Even with that World 1 and that terrible 8-3, so it's still pretty good pace. Oh, actually, no, screw it, not good pace, but a pace. Right here, you can save time by shooting a fireball after you wall kick off the pipe. Because for whatever reason, shooting a fireball while you wall kick makes you accelerate faster in the air. Like, by one, like, your speed increases 1/3 more every frame or something. I think that's what Yipley said. Mate 6, if I remember correctly, was pretty good. You can also... Actually, I turned back there a little bit. I remember that, yeah. Because I was too afraid that I was gonna miss it. But other than that, this was a 370, which is pretty decent. Also got the pixel stop. Bog. That pixel stop that happened in there saves time. It's one of the few pixel stops that are useful. I do the triple jump bog. Right here is where we do fire hops, where you shoot a fireball. Wow, I did that really late. Holy crap, I'm shocked that that worked. Anyway, yeah, basically that, because of you're canceling the grabbing animation or something, yeah. So you grab star, because star movement is quick. I think about a year ago, I determined that not using star is actually faster, but I'm fairly certain that my theory is wrong, because I've almost gotten 62s using star. So I'd go and compare back to my PB as well. So 8-8, the RNG level. I got perfect RNG, but I kind of choked it a bit. Because, okay, so basically, the hitboxes with the meteors are very interesting, to say the least. I expected that this meteor would get in my way, so if I were to full jump off this to grab the star, then this would have hit me. So that's why I didn't go up there. But instead, it just decides to break, so I'm like, okay. So then I grab the star that way, which lost me a bit of time. It lost me about 0.7. It sucks, but I guess it's whatever. That's also where I saved time to Noodles, because Noodles had like the most scuffed 8-8 of all time in his PB. This is where Death Warp happens. The way I did Death Warp back then, I was so ignorant to learning like new strats and stuff. But the way I did it back then, it was really stupid. There's a visual cue that you can use where if you see 2 blocks right here and you stand, whoa, mouse, and you stand right here, then you can instantly just start moving and you're lined up perfectly. What I would do is I would just turn back and then just start running whenever I wanted to. Though it worked out though, because that was actually pretty risky. You can save time here, because again, fireball, but also you can do triple jump storage, which stores your triple jump height if you crouch afterwards. So you can like cut this part a bit easier, but instead I just did that. I do a wall kick, because the wall kick saves time, and it's free. Grab fire, and then the rest is just auto-scroller, so I'm just going to skip it. Right here is also where you can save a bit more time, because I have a key set of jumps, where as soon as I land full jump, and then wait a bit and then keep going. But I completely messed that up, and I take this so slow, and it sucks because it's just such free time save. That's what killed 2236, to be honest. And my Bowser's, because my Bowser's was bad. I've learned now that shooting fire towards Bowser Jr. is faster than having him come near you. At least that's what Yipley tells me. I haven't tested it myself, but I'm gonna take his word for it. So a pretty decent gauntlet, all things considered. And I get a bridge crossing. Notice how the save text box didn't come up until a little bit later. And you can hear the item block moving. It's a bridge crossing. After 8-8, it only loses about 1.5 seconds. But it's still kind of interesting to get that in a world record. The last time a bridge crossing was in a world record was Yipley's 2254.833, I think, if I remember correctly. Bowser's is the biggest time save, because you can get hit here, and it's faster, but I decided to take it safe because I suck. Landing on that dry bones was slower, because again, I suck. And the reason why getting hit in the first room is faster is because 1, you don't have to turn back, and 2, as Small Mario, you can do a wall kick off of this wall to save a little bit of time. I took that really safe. You can do this in one jump, but it's a bit tight. And I guess I just took it safe, so then I could ensure that I hit the switch. The rest of this is just maze. No one cares. This is also where I save time to Noodles. Bowser Jr. can stare at you for a specific amount of time if you don't do Miko Manip, which is where you like do a triple jump while scrolling the camera in specific spots, and it cancels out the stare animation. Although sometimes it will stare at you, which is what happened to Noodles, but it only lasted about 0.5. And after that, just Bowser jump, land on the right side of Junior, and easy clap. Easy clap. So this is really because of also human delay and also the fact that timer started early, is a 22:37.033. And yeah, that's it. That's the run. I go on for like a few more minutes because I went into a VC. I was in a VC the whole time. I just wasn't using mic. So, yep.